So good afternoon, guys. Let's start the discussion of the test 2. So in JEE main test 2 discussion, we see how which type of questions that come in the test and what is the nature of the question, what is the approach so we should follow so that we can solve question in a given time. So let's start with the question number 1. In the question number 1, if we see what is given that a particle is projected at t equal to 0 from point P. It is given that it is projected from a point P and with initial speed V naught. Initial speed is given at an angle 45 degree to the horizontal. In this problem, it is asked about what is the magnitude of angular momentum of the particle about P at the time V naught equal to that T equal to V naught upon 3G. Okay. So first of all, we have to know that what is the angular momentum of the particle. So if we talking about angular momentum of a particle, so we know that angular momentum about any point or any axis, a particle having mass m, velocity v, that is given that m r cross t. This is the basic formula, and we can also resolve this formula that m p r sine theta. So I hope this is clear to everyone what is the formula of the angular momentum for the particle. So in this particular question, it is clubbed the concept with projectile motion. So if we consider that the particle is projected from t equal to 0 from origin, so we know that this is the path motion under gravity and the path of the projectile. And after any time t, we can say that this is the position of particle, say A, and here the velocity of particle is something like this. And after t at t equal to 0, that is saying in the problem that is the point P, and the angle of projection that is given in the problem that is 45 degree. Okay, beta. So how we can solve the angular momentum? So first of all, there are two approaches to solve this problem. The very first approach, we can say that here, if we talk about the torque, which force create torque here? So we can say mg is continuously acting in downward direction. If we find out the torque of mg about point P, then what is the torque? We can say that mg into perpendicular distance. What is the perpendicular distance? That this distance is x. And we know that if the initial speed is v naught, then what is the x here? X is the that displacement of particle after time t. So we can say this displacement is written as horizontal velocity into t. I hope this is clear, and we can say this value is nothing but initial velocity that is given in the problem, that is v naught. Cos 45, if we put, this will become 1 by root 2 into t, v naught upon 3g. So here we can say the value of x, we can write down here, v naught square upon 3 root 2g. This is the value of x. So if we want to write down the torque, that force into perpendicular distance, and since we can say that is the clockwise sense. Because in this problem we only interested in magnitude, as it is saying about the magnitude, so we can say this will become mgx. Put the value of x here, this will become mg v naught square divide over 3 root 2g, right? Here we can see that this is the value of the torque of the mg. Here g and g is the cancel out, so this value will become mv naught square divide over 3 by root 2. Okay, here the next, how torque is related with the angular momentum? We can say that the net external torque that can always be written as dl upon dt. What is the meaning of dl upon dt? That rate change of angular momentum. That rate change of angular momentum. So here we have to find out the angular momentum at this particular up time. So what we can say here? We can say here, if we find out the value of dl, so how dl can be written as tau dt, and if we want to calculate angular momentum at this time, so this will nothing but this will simple integration. This will simple integration that tau dt. That is the first approach. That is the first approach. But one thing we have to follow here, if we differentiate this is going something wrong. What is wrong? Because we have to also learn which type of mistakes we can in exam, so we can avoid such type of mistake. Here if we want to calculate the torque, then we have to make a proper function of time so that we can integrate it. Here it will not a function of time because we put the value of time here. So what to do in such type of question? Firstly, we have to make the x as a function of time. Then we should apply the concept of integration. So what we can say here, sir, here first of all we have to calculate x is the function of time. That we can say v cos 45 into t. Then we have to calculate the torque, that will be mgx. Then put the value of x. So this will become v naught by root 2 into t. Again we can say, then we can write down in this manner. So here dl is written as tau dt. Again, if you want to value of the angular momentum, then this can be written as mg v naught upon root 2 t dt. What is the difference between this one and this one? Here tau is not a function of time, so it's the wrong method if we going in this way. So we should avoid such type of mistakes. Beta, we can't put the value of time because we have to make the function of tau with time. So we should follow in this manner. And if we want to calculate the value of angular momentum from 0 to t, then we have to put time here. So if we get this will become mg v naught upon root 2, and we know that the integration of t dt will become t square upon 2, and put the value that 0 to t. Here if we put the value of the time, we will get appropriate answer, and I hope that time is given. V naught upon 3g. Okay, so this will become v naught upon 3g square. So here the value will become, we can say what is the value, that m v naught cube, and here that 3 square 9, 18 root 2g. This is the appropriate answer. So first method we should learn how we can proceed. The second way, you can try by your own way. That is the basic definition of angular momentum, that we know that L equal to R cross P. I hope this is clear. What is the R? R is the position vector. R is the position vector. If particle is projected in some way, we can say that particle is at time t here. This is the position vector R. If this angle is theta, we can say that R we can write down u cos theta t minus u sin theta t minus half gt square. And if you want to in the function of I and j, so this will become I cap and this will become j cap. I hope this is the vector R. And what is the vector p beta? Vector p is nothing but m into v, so mass into velocity. What is the velocity? After time t, this is the velocity which having two components, horizontal and vertical. Horizontal component is nothing but, we again say u cos theta. Okay, and what in direction of I, and what is the vertical component after time t, that we can say this will become u sin theta minus gt in the direction of j cap. So if we find out the cross product like this I, j, k, and put the value here u cos theta, and here we can say what is the value here, that is the u cos theta into t, here u cos theta. What is the value coefficient of j here, that minus u sin theta minus half gt square, here u sin theta minus gt, and find out the value of here that r cross p. Then we will get direct answer. There is two ways to solve the problem. You can adopt any one. Let's move for the next question. Again, this is very beautiful beautiful question from the center of mass chapter. Here what is given? A plate is in form of semicircle of radius. Semicircle of radius A. You have to remember this. And mass per unit area. What is mass per unit area, beta? That is the sigma that is given variable here, kr square, where k is constant. So here we have to find the distance of center of mass of plate from the center of straight edge. So there is three important point is given. One is the semicircle. So here it is given that it is a semicircle form, semicircular form, and it is saying that the semicircle having radius A. If we consider this is the center, so this is our radius A. I hope this is clear. Okay. It is also given that sigma is variable and that is nothing but kr square. And what is the center of mass? And we know that beta, if this is in semicircle form, then what is this is plate. For plate, sigma is defined. It means this is the 2D object. This is the 2D object. So what is the formula of the center of mass? We know that the center of mass is always lie at the symmetric material. A body is symmetric about that axis. So by keen visualization, we can say somehow center of mass is lie on the y-axis. But exactly we don't know what is the distance from the center of the semicircle. Okay, one thing we can say here, what is the area of this semicircle? If we want to write down, we can say the area we can also write down here. So the basic formula of the center of mass, beta, we know that this is nothing but dm into y divide over dm. I hope this is clear for everyone. What is the dm, beta? If sigma is given, so we always say that dm is nothing but dm is the mass of a small element. If we cut a small portion of this disk, what is the small elemental portion of this disk, beta? So we can say the disk is formed by a small portion of ring having thickness. We can say that dy. If in y-axis, if we choose a small semicircular ring having thickness dy, we can say dm that can be written as beta sigma into dA, correct? Into y. And what is the dm here? That sigma into dA. What is the value of sigma here? Sigma is given here, beta, k into r square. And how dA can be written? Because this is the not a circular, this is the semicircular ring. And this is a semicircular ring having thickness dy. So we can say that here we can say that dA can be written as nothing but pi r into dr. So in place of dA, we put this value pi r dr when we consider thickness dr at a distance r. But here we consider thickness dy at a distance y. Then what we can say here? What we can say here, in place of r, we can put y. This depend upon your choice, what each question is given. So if we consider k is given as a function of r, then we can say this is not y, this is r. Yeah, this is depend upon the problem. Because this ring having a distance y, that y is nothing but, that y we already know what is this y. This y is nothing but center of mass of this small portion of ring. I hope this is clear for everyone. So we can say the value of sigma, that kr square into pi r dr. What is the value of y here, beta? What is the value of y? Y is the that coordinate of center of mass of small circular semicircular ring. Then what is the, we know that what is the center of mass of semicircular ring from the center? Everybody know, if the radius is r, so we can say this is nothing but 2r upon pi. I hope this is everybody know about this. Okay, so here we can say that if we consider the ring at distance r, so what is the center of mass? 2r upon pi. Divide over, put the value of sigma here. kr square pi r dr. What is the range of limit? Lower limit from center 0, upper limit that a. If we solve this beta, what we will get here? That k, and we can say ki r square r and r. So this will become 2 plus 1, 3 plus 4. So this will become 4. So we can say ki 2k pi, that is common from here, and we can also say pi and pi is the cancel out. So this will equal to, see here, k 0 to a r raised to power, see here, r raised to power 4 dr. Divide over, we can say in the denominator k, and this will become pi 0 to a, and this will equal to r cube dr. If we solve this and put the limit, k and k is cancel out from here, what will happen here? If we solve this data, we easily get required answer. And what is our required answer here? We can say that this will equal to, here 2 is also present, we have to put 2 here. Integration of r cube dr, that r raised to power 4 upon 4, and 4 to the 8. If we put the value 0 to a, this will become a. What is the integration of r raised to power 4? R raised to power 5 upon 5. So this will equal to 5. 1 pi is remaining here, that 8a upon 5 pi. What is the point in this question? We should remember better. The small portion of the semicircular disc is the semicircular ring, and the center of mass of semicircular ring from the center lie at a distance 2r upon pi. 2r upon pi. This is the concept we should remember. I hope this is clear to everyone, and the correct option we can say here, that 8a upon 5 pi. Let's move for the next question. This question, the concept of the work and the fluid. What is given here? A cube having side A, volume B, a small cubical chamber of the volume V upon 8. The chamber is completely filled by m kg of water. So we can say here total m kg of water is present. Water leaks through hole. The hole is given at the base. The work done by the gravity. We know that what is the work done by gravity? Gravity is the conservative force, and the work done by gravity is nothing but we can say is minus times of change in potential energy, right? So we can say this can be written as U initial minus U final. Okay. One more thing we have to visualize here. What is the height of water in this hole? This distance is A. This is the A by 2. It is a clue is given in the problem. This volume is the V by 8. The total volume of container is V. So we can say V for a cubical container, that can be written as A cube. I hope this is correct. If we want to find out this height, so we can say we know the length A, we know the width A by 2, and this volume is given that V by 8. So we can say V by 8, it means sir A cube upon 8, and this value is nothing but length into width into, if we consider this height, that is the small h, and this will equal to here beta, we can say this will equal to A by 4. This is the required height A by 2. If water leaks from here, after some time water gains some height on this cubical floor. Okay. So what is the final height attained by water on this surface? Say this is the h dash. How we can find out this value? We know that sir, the total volume that comes in this zone, that can again written as the total volume is the conserved here, that A cube upon 8. This can be written here A into A, and what is the new height we can here, that A upon 8. That is the total height when the water is distributed on a cubical floor. Okay. So what is the approach to solve this question? Firstly, we have to find out what is the height of the water. Why we find out the height here? So that we can calculate the potential energy. So what is the initial potential energy beta? Initial potential energy, if we consider this is our reference, we can say mgh. What is the mass of this water? It is given m kg. So we can say mg. What is the height? We know that because water is distributed So this is lie at the center of mass, and if this height is a by 4, so from this point the center of, we can say the height will be equal to a by 8. Then what is the height from the reference point? We can say that if this total height is a minus a by 8, that is the 7a upon 8. I hope this is clear. Minus what is the final potential energy? Final potential energy between final condition of water is distributed something like this. Mass is mg. What is this height? Because water, the center of mass is water at this point, and this distance from here, that a by 8, that half a by 8, that a by 16. We can say that is the a by 16. If we solve this value, what we will get here, beta? We will get 13 upon 16 mga. So this is the work done by gravity, or we can say minus times of change in potential energy of water. That correct option is D. Let's move for the next question. Next question, that is again application of the circular motion and work power energy. It is given that here smooth surface is given, that hollow sphere radius r, projected a particle with given speed, that is given under root 7 by 2 gr. Okay. We have to find out if the particle lose contact with the spherical surface. What is the meaning of a particle lose contact? We can say the normal value will become 0. Suppose that a particle reach here and particle will make some angle with its center. Say this is the situation when particle makes theta angle from vertical. Here one thing we have to also note down in this problem, the angle will ask from the lower vertical. It means our answer is not theta, our answer is 180 minus theta. One thing we have to keep in mind here. Then what is the FBD of the particle? What is the forces acting on the particle? We can say one is the mg in downward direction, another is the normal toward the center. And we know that beta, if mg is acting in downward direction, this angle is theta, so this angle again become theta. So we can say that if this is our center point, what is the component of mg here? That mg cos theta. Normal is also acting in the same direction. So we can say particle is moving in a circular path. So there is must a centripetal acceleration acting on the particle. So what is the net centripetal acceleration? We can say that mv square upon r. This must be written as beta. That is mg cos theta plus normal. According to question, particle lose contact. So normal should be equal to 0. So here what is the value of mv square? That we can say that mg cos theta into r. I hope this is clear. M and m get cancel out, and value of v square we can say that rg cos theta. Say this is the equation number 1. What is the another equation? Beta, in such type of problem, always keep two things in mind. One is the force equation and another is the energy conservation equation. Because surface is smooth, so we can apply the conservation of mechanical energy here. So by applying conservation of mechanical energy, say this is our reference point. So we can say this is initial point, this is final point. So what is initial kinetic energy? Half mv square, that 7 by 2 gr. What is initial potential? This is the reference, that is 0. What is the final potential? So we can say this height is r and this height will become r cos theta. So what is the total height at particle when particle is position 2? We can say that total potential energy mgr1 plus cos theta. I hope this is clear. And what is the kinetic energy at this point? Half mv square. What is the v is given? Rg cos theta. Rg cos theta. Say here mgr, mgr and mgr is the cancel out. What will happen here? 7 by 4 equal to 1 plus, we can say this will become 3 cos theta by 2. So 3 cos theta by 2, this will become beta 7 by 4 minus 1. So we can say what is this value equal to? That 3 by 4. So cos theta will equal to 1 by 2. So we can say theta equal to 60 degree, but this is not our answer. It is angle is asked from lower vertical. So our answer is that pi minus theta or 180 minus theta. we can say our correct answer is 120 degree. I hope this is clear. Let's move for the next question. This question is very important problem regarding JEE main, that very good application of the fluid in the term of SHM. Here the tube is open, so we can say here atmospheric pressure is 8, and initially the whole system is equilibrium, so we can say here this pressure must be equal to this pressure. So if we want to find out the time period of oscillation, what is the procedure? We have to just displace the liquid slightly, displace from mean position, then find the net force, then see the equation. R is form of F equal to Kx. So okay. In the same manner, if we proceed, if this is the equilibrium position, we displace the liquid, suppose slightly in downward direction X. So the same liquid will rise in this direction. I hope this is clear. So the same liquid will rise here X. And if we say this is new level, this is new level. So what is the net force at new level? So we can say that, sir, what is the net force? Because liquid is displaced from here. So there is no liquid remaining, only atmospheric pressure X. If particle will perform SHM, so at this point A, net force is acting in the upward direction, that is restoring force. So what is the net force at this point? See here, beta. We can say one is the pressure that downward due to downward. So what is the pressure? The pressure at A must be equal to pressure at B. What is the pressure at B, beta? Pressure at B is that this distance is also X, this distance is also X. That disturbance is too small, so we can consider the vertical height. So this will become rho g2x, right? So what is, if consider the tube area, the cross-sectional area is A, so this will become 2 rho g x into A. And one is the atmospheric pressure from here, so that this will equal to P naught into A. One force also we must include it, because atmospheric pressure also act from this side. So this will also acting here P naught A. P naught A, P naught A is cancel out. What is the value of net force, beta? That 2 rho g A into X. This is the net restoring force, so that liquid again move in upward direction. And this value must be, we should compare with F equal to Kx, where K, that is the SHM constant, that K that can be written as 2 rho g into A. What is the time period? 2 pi root over m upon K. Okay, beta. So 2 pi root over. What is the value of mass? That mass contained by tube, because whole tube oscillating, all the mass are oscillating. So what is the mass, beta? Mass is the density into volume. Volume is the area into length. And cross-sectional area, if we consider A. What is the length? The initially water is filled in a semicircular tube. So we can say the length is nothing but pi into R. I hope rho A into distance. This will volume, and K value, that rho g E into A. Here A and A is cancel out, and we can say rho and rho is cancel out. What is the required value? 2 pi R upon 2G. So I hope this is clear to everyone. Option D is the right one. Next, a body of mass m moving with velocity v makes head-on elastic collision. We have to stick the word elastic, means coefficient of restitution with 1, and 2m, which is initially at rest. So there are two types of equation that always valid, beta. One is the coefficient of restitution is nothing but velocity of separation divided over velocity of approach. We consider the case that first body that having mass m moving with velocity v, and this strike to another body that having mass 2m and the initial velocity of second body is 0. After the collision, if we consider the body having mass m, velocity will become v1, and the body having mass 2m, velocity will become v2. Then apply the concept of coefficient of restitution, that is 1. We can say what is the velocity of separation, that v2 minus v1, and what is the velocity of approach, v minus 0. So we can say v2 minus v1 equal to v. Say this is the equation number 1. What is the second equation? Second equation from the conservation of linear momentum. Conservation of linear momentum, that m1 u1 plus m2 u2 equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. If we put the value here, what is the mass? M v, this is the rest, and this will become m, that v1, this will become 2m, that is v2. M that you cancel out. Here v can be written as v1 plus 2v2. Here two equation, two unknown, we can actually find out the value of v1 here. Okay, and after two equation, we will get value of v1 if we solve this, that nothing but v by 3. And it is asked in the problem, ratio of kinetic energy of lighter body, which one lighter? This one is lighter. So we can say it is asked that kinetic energy of initial to kinetic energy of final. This will become half m v square, that half m v by 3 whole square. If we solve this, this will become 9:1. So correct answer is option A. Let's move for the next problem. What is given? A boat is moving towards east, that is 4 meters per second. To consider the direction beta, say this is east, north, south and west. Say east direction in a plane I cap, j cap. So here we can say the velocity of boat, that with respect to river, that is given as 4I. And it is also given that the river is flowing towards the north. The velocity of river, that is given 10, north means j cap, 10j cap, and wind is blowing toward the north. Velocity of wind we can say here, that is toward north, that 6j cap. Okay. So here what is we have to find out? Velocity of flag. It means flag with respect to boat. So we can say flag means velocity of wind, because velocity of wind decides the velocity of flag. So we have to find out velocity of wind with respect to boat. This is nothing but velocity of wind minus velocity of boat. I hope this is clear to everyone. What is the meaning of velocity of boat with respect to river is given. So if we want to calculate velocity of boat with respect to ground, how we can calculate? That velocity of boat with respect to river plus velocity of river. I hope this is clear. And this value will become 4I cap plus this will equal to 10j cap, right? What is the velocity of wind with respect to ground? 6j cap. Put this value here, 6j cap minus 4I cap plus 10j cap. Here if we solve this, this will become minus 4I cap and this will become minus 4j cap. What is the meaning of minus 4I? If plus I means east, then minus I means west. It means this will minus 4I, this will acting in this direction and the y component is acting in southward direction. And we know that if you want to find out tan theta here, x and y component are equal here, that will become 45 degrees, exact 45 degrees. So what is the direction of wind with respect to boat or flag? That is exactly we can say that southwest direction. I hope this question is also clear, that the important application of the relative velocity here, how we can write down the velocity with respect to another particle. Let's move for the next. Again, this is important type of problem. In the today's trend, such type of question is generally asked. Force is variable and it is asked at t barabar 0, the force is variable, that f equal to 2t square is given here. Okay. And we have to find out the correct graph. Initially, what will happen? If we consider at t equal to 0, force equal to 0, t equal to 1 second, force equal to 2 Newton. So initially, there are some force. If there are some force, there is some static friction must happen in this question. So if we increase the value of time, then force is also increases. So first of all, we have to find out at which extent static friction is acting here. So what is the maximum value of static friction? We know that is the limiting friction, that mu s into n. I hope this is clear to everyone. After that, kinetic friction will act. Once kinetic friction will act, then body will move with respect to surface, and there is net force on body here 2t square, and in this direction friction force, that is the kinetic friction, and this value is the 2t, that mu into n, and here the kinetic friction coefficient. I hope this is clear. So we can say that when the friction is static in nature, the surface is not going to be moved. say this time is t naught. So we can say from t equal to 0 to t naught, the body will not going to be moved. So what is the time? We can say from t naught 0 to t naught, body will not going to be moved. So there is no acceleration. So in this case, the acceleration is 0. After when time increases with t naught, the acceleration is nothing but a net force, that is 2t square minus static friction mu k into m divided over mass. What is the nature of acceleration with time? That is the parabola upward. And we know that the parabola upward is something like this. Which one is the correct graph? We can say initially this is 0. After there is a kink happen, sudden body start. This is the point here, and this is the parabola upward. We can say this is the kinetic friction act in this region. So what is the correct graph? We can say option A is the right one. Here the question is asked from the fluid property, the capillary tube that is given an inner and outer radius. So suppose if we consider that this is our capillary tube, okay, and here the inner and outer radius is given. So we know that by the property of surface tension, we have to apply some force to hold vertically. Why we have to apply the force? Because there are some downward force acting. One is the mg and another is due to surface tension. Here liquid is filled. So we can say surface tension is acting on inner radii and outer, right? So what is the force balance equation in this case? That upward force F must be balance mg plus surface tension force. And surface tension force is nothing but beta, that is surface tension into length. So we can say in inner radii, if we consider the surface tension is T, what is the force? T into 2 pi R1. In the outer radii, T into 2 pi R2. Put the value of m here, that pi gram, that 10 raised to power minus 3. G we have to put 10 here. Surface tension that 0.1, 2 pi R1. R1 value that 2 mm, we can put 3, 10 raised to power minus 3. Again, surface tension 2 pi and R2 that 4 into 10 raised to power minus 3. If we solve this, that pi into 10 raised to power minus 3, and what will happen here, that 0.1 plus 0.1, this will equal to, if we solve this, this value will equal to 11.2. And this minus 3 will become micronewton. So what is the answer? 11.2 pi micronewton. I hope this is clear. That is the application of the surface tension. Next, again, this is the very easy problem. This is the question from the Young's modulus, and we know that this is the proportional limit is given for two different type of material. And we know that in the proportional limit that we can say that tan theta is equal to nothing but stress upon strain. Okay, beta, tan theta is stress upon strain. So how we can say that what is the stress upon strain? Stress upon strain in proportional limit, that is known as the Young's modulus. So what is the Young's modulus of A? That is the tan 60. What is the Young's modulus of B? That is the tan 30. And we know that this value is the √3, this value is the 1 upon √3. Here we can easily say that the y is 3 times of yb. So what is the correct answer, beta? Correct answer is option D. Let's move for the next. Here that question is based on the sonometer experiment. Actually, what happened in sonometer, beta? Actually, in sonometer there is a table, table is given, and this is attached with a pulley. Okay, and we attach some mass here. We can change the value of mass. Here a fixed point is given, and we can fix our string at this point and this point. Okay, so if we put the mass here, the tension is going to be changed, and the vibration in string, frequency in string is also changing. So we can say if this is behaving like as a fixed point, so this is the concept of the two fixed point is given here. So this always make a node here and node here. So we can say a node is formed at this point, a node is formed at this point. What is the use of the sonometer to find the velocity of wave in string? It is given that in one case frequency is 350 and the next higher. It means if the first one is the n, the second one is the n plus 1. Then what is the equation of frequency that we can write down here, beta? That n upon 2l under root t upon mu. That is the first case, that frequency is given 350. Another case, that is n plus 1, that is the next higher. If we consider that, this will equal to n upon, that is given that 2l. This value is written as t upon mu equal to 420. If we solve this equation by dividing that, n plus 1 divide over n, and this value equal to 420 upon 350. What is the value of n here? We can easily solve the what is the value of n here. And if we see what is the value of n here, beta, the value of n should be equal to, n should be equal to, must be 5 from here if we solve this value. If n equal to 5 here, what is the meaning of n equal to 5? It means 5 loops are formed there. If 5 loops are formed there, and we know that there is distance between two conjugative nodes, distance between two conjugative nodes is nothing but lambda by 2. It means 5 loops are formed here. We can say if there are 5 loops are formed, if there are 5 loops are formed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lambda by 2, this will become 5 lambda by 2, and this will equal to length of string, where lambda that can be written as 2l upon 5, and lambda is also written in the form of the velocity and the frequency. How we can write down this value here? We can say this is nothing but velocity upon frequency. Okay, that is the 2l upon 5, and we can also write down here that v upon 2l, that is nothing but f upon 5 here. What is the meaning of v upon 2l? We can say that is the fundamental frequency. We can say here v upon 2, and v upon 2l, that we can solve this value. This will equal to, because the frequency we already know that the frequency that fundamental level that 350 is given, so this will equal to 70 hertz. What is the second harmonic frequency? If this is the 70, then we know that by the closed string case, the second next level frequency will become 2v upon 2l, and this value will equal to 2 into 70, that is the 140 hertz. So what is the correct answer? Option D, that option 4 is the correct one. Firstly, we have to find out the fundamental. Then next we have to multiply by the 2, because we know that what is the trend here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. The next is the again very easy problem from based on the continuity equation. And here what is given? Minimum and maximum velocity. What is the continuity equation, beta? If we talk about the continuity equation, we can say that if there is a pipe and water is flow from this pipe, say this is the diameter having d1, this diameter is v2, here the velocity is v1, here the velocity is v2. So we know that a1 v1 must be equal to a2 v2, and we know that the area is always written as pi by 4 d square. So here we can say that this equation can be modified in this manner. I hope this is clear. Okay, here we have to find out the minimum velocity to maximum velocity. One thing by common sense, where velocity is greater, their diameter is lesser, right? So we can say that here we can say that if you want to find out the minimum upon maximum velocity, so this will be equal to d max upon d min. Okay, and this will equal. So what is this value will equal to, beta? We can say that what is the minimum velocity and maximum velocity we can write down here. So if we want to write down from here, what is the v minimum upon v maximum? Put the value that is given in the problem, that v minimum upon v maximum. So corresponding, we can say this will equal to 9 square upon 16 square. What is this value? 81 upon 256, and this is very much obvious. V minimum that 81, V maximum 256. That is again based on the continuity equation. The second question that is based on the, we can say, Doppler effect. Here the two sources of sound which moving with speed v emitting frequency that is given that. So we can say that here observer position is not going to be changed. So this is our observer and the velocity of observer we can say is 0. Okay. And suppose one source of sound that is moving towards observer and one is moving away from the observer. So the frequency created by sound 1 and the frequency created by sound 2, how this is related? Say this velocity that is question that is moving with same speed v and this v. And we know that the apparent speed that heard by observer that is given that f naught. And here we can see if we consider the velocity of sound is c, that c plus minus velocity of observer and c plus minus that velocity of sound source. Okay. Here observer is fixed, so we can say this value equal to 0. And one more thing it is gained, it observed here the beat of 4 hertz. What is the meaning of beat? That difference of frequency. So we can say here, if we want to write down the difference of frequency here, because observer velocity is 0, this will equal to c upon c minus v, and that c minus c upon c plus v. And this value equal to given as 4 hertz. Here the value of c that is given in the problem, that velocity of sound is 350 meter per second. And the frequency that is also given in the problem, that is 14 hertz. Okay. Here one thing we also know that here f naught is also there. If we solve this equation and putting the value of f naught and c, we will get the value of v, and that is nothing but 1 by 2. The option D is the right one. What is the concept we have to see here? If observer is at rest, then we put this value is 0. And when will maximum frequency rate heard by observer? When this thing will become lesser, then we have to put negative sign here. Here the beat frequency is given, it means the difference of two frequency is given here. This is the question that is again the application part that I have discussed in the thermodynamics section. When two gases are mixed, having different degree of freedom and different number of moles and different temperature. What is the temperature of mixing? I hope this is clear to everyone. The mixing temperature is always written as N1 F1 T1 plus N2 F2 T2 divide over N1 F1 plus N2 F2. I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. And what is the N1 beta? That 2 mole gas. What is the degree of freedom of monoatomic? 3. What is the temperature? T0. What is the N2? 4 mole. What is the degree of freedom of diatomic gas? That is 5. What is the T2? 14. Divide over we can say 3 2 ja 6, 5 4 ja we can say that is the 20. If we solve this, we will get this value that 86 upon 26 T0, and we can say after solving this that 43 upon T0, option D is the correct. Here the diatomic ideal gas is given and we have to find out the efficiency. What is the efficiency beta? That is net work, and we can say efficiency is net work upon heat supplied. We have to remember this formula very clearly, because what is the concept of network? Network is the work done in during cycle. We can say this is nothing but 2 P0 and V0. We can say this is the network. We can write down here 2 P0 V0. Okay, because work done in this enclosed cycle. Okay. What is the heat supplied? Heat supplied means the heat supplied to the system, heat given to the system. So as we see here volume is constant, pressure is increases. So if volume is constant in PV equal to nRT, if volume is constant, that pressure is proportional to temperature, pressure is increases, temperature is increases. Here also temperature is increases. So in process AB and BC, heat is supplied. So we have to consider portion AB and BC. We are not going to consider CD and AD because here heat is rejected. Yes or no? So what is the heat in AB portion? That is the constant volume portion beta. Then we can say NCV delta T. NCV delta T. This will equal to NCV. Put the value of beta delta T here. That delta T. What is the in A to B? What is the in BC portion? That we can say that is the constant pressure process NCP delta T in B to C. Put the value to P naught V naught, and we know that how we can write down the CV, that if we put the value CV for diatomic gas, this will equal to 5 by 2 NR T naught, and this will equal to 7 by 2 NR, and find out the temperature difference for B2C, that will equal to 4 T naught. 4 T naught. Again, we know that if P naught V naught equal to NR T naught, put this value here, and we will get required answer beta, that 2 P naught V naught divide over 30 by 2 after taking LCM here, and this will become P naught V naught. So if we solve this, this will become 4 upon 33. This is the required answer. Let's move for the next question. Here we have to find out the diameter of cylinder. How we can solve such type of question? Firstly, we have to find out the beta least count. Here it is given 10 division of vernier scale coincide with 9 division of main scale. So what is the reading here? And it is given that the 0 of vernier scale lies slightly behind 3.2. So which data on main scale lie behind 3.2? You can say that is a 3.1. And the vernier scale coincide with main scale. How much division? That is the 4 division. 4th into least count. Put the value of least count here, and it is very much obvious from here beta. If least count at is given 9 division of vernier equal to 9 division of main equal to 10 division of vernier. Okay, we can say least count, we can say MST minus BST. If we solve this, this will equal to 0.1. So if we solve this, this value equal to 3.14 centimeter. That is the correct option. Let's move for the next question. Here again it is given that there are two lenses given, and here the object is placed. So firstly, what will happen? Factory refraction will occur from this convex lens, and the image formed by the convex lens that is acting like as an object for the concave lens. If we say this is the lens 1, this is the lens 2, apply the lens formula for the 1, that 1 by V minus 1 by U equal to 1 by F. What is the value of 1 by V here beta? If we solve this, we can say this will equal to 1 by V equal to 1 by F, that is given 5. And what is the U here? That is the 20. This is the minus 20, that will become plus 20. Again, if we transfer minus 20, say this is the value V1. What is the value of V1 here? If we solve the V1, this will equal to 20 by 3 here. This 20 by 3 acting like as an object. And what is the distance of object from lens B? This distance is given 2 centimeter. And say the distance of image formed by the lens 1, that is the 20 by 3. Okay. So what is the distance beta? 20 by 3 minus 2. We can say for lens 2, what is U2 beta? That 20 by 3 minus we can 2. So what is this value become? U2, that will equal to 4 by 3 centimeter. Again, apply the lens formula, and here we have to notice one thing. Focal length of concave lens is negative, that is already given. 1 by V. What is the U here? That is 3 upon 14 equal to 1 upon 5. So if we solve this, the value of V equal to nothing but 70 centimeter. 70 centimeter, and that's positive sign represent the image lie at the right side of the lens B, and that is the real. So that is option 2 is the correct one. Next one, that is electrostatic section. 4 charge is given at the position shown, that 0, 2, say that 0, 2, 4, 2, say this is the 4, 2, minus 2, 4, minus 2, minus 4, and 0, 0, minus 2. Say this is the 0, minus 2. There are 4 equal charge Q each place. 4 equal charge Q each place. And it is also say in the question, if we place and another charge Q, then what is the work done? And we know that the work done is nothing but W external is change in potential energy. U final minus U initial. Okay. So what is the U final? That combination made by this charge with some other force surrounding charge. So what we can write down here beta, that K Q. If we make the combination with this, that K Q1 Q2 upon R, KQ square. If we say this distance is 2, KQ square by 2. From this will equal to, from this, if we write down KQ square upon 2. We know that this distance is 4, this distance is 2. Then what is this distance? We can say under root 20. Under root 20, that can be written as 2 root 5. We can say this will equal to KQ square upon 2 root 5. Again, the distance of this origin charge from this minus 2 comma 4 is again equal to KQ square upon 2 root 5. The initial potential energy, we can say this Q charge lie at infinity. We must do some work from bring this charge from infinity. Because of the combination of this charge, another charge will equal to 0. So if we solve this value, what we will get here, that Q square upon 4 pi epsilon 1 plus 1 upon root 5. That option B is the right one here. Let's move for the next question. What is the next question? What is the current flowing through battery? That is again, diodes are ideal. We can say positive, this will gain positive, this will gain positive. So this is not working because this is acting like, as we can say, this is diode at reverse biasing. Okay, so this diode is not working more. So we can say this is 4 ohm, this diode, and what is the resistance of this diode is given. The resistance of this diode, we can say that is given at 2 ohm. What is the total current? That 12 upon 4 plus 2. That this will equal to 2 ampere. So 2 ampere is the right answer for the given problem. Next, move further this question. What is the answer for this question, beta? We have to should note down that n equal to 6 here. And how we can solve? We know that what is the required path difference. The path difference that is given, that n lambda for maxima, that is always is written in some manner. We have to also find out how we can write down the path difference, beta. The path difference that can be written, we should follow the procedure that refractive index mu into, we can say that S2, if we consider that S2P minus S1P, if we put a slab between the screen and slit, so this will also displace some extra path difference, that is nothing but T into mu minus 1. Here we know that this value is nothing, we already know that is the delta X, and this value we can place here, that is the Y small d upon capital D and T mu minus 1. In problem, it is asked that the exactly lie that in front of S1. So we can say this distance will equal to small d. This is the capital D. So this distance will become d by 2. Put y equal to d by 2 here and solve the given problem for n equal to 1. For the maxima, for the first maxima, we can maximum wavelength and we will get required answer. Okay. In the next question, this is again very easy problem, that charge flow is, we can say flux rate change divide over resistance. This area will get the value of charge here, and this area, that is nothing but that charge, we can say that is equal to 0.4 here. If we multiply the 10, this value will equal to 10 Weber. What is the answer? 10 Weber. Here the correct answer, we should note down that what is the correct answer. N equal to 3 here. We know that the magnetic field due to this will 0, magnetic field due to this, we can apply the formula of the finite length wire and the formula of the sector of the circle. We will get the net field at center, that V1 plus V2. The next problem that we have to try by own self, again that is the very easy problem. What is the pressure of that 12.50 atm? We have to note down, and the next problem also you can write down the same answer, 12.50. And the last problem again, that is based on the Wien's law, lambda 1 T1 equal to lambda 2 T2, and this value is also equal to something. We can say that 2 point, we can solve this by using this. The answer of this problem is nothing but 0.280 micrometer. This is the answer of this problem. And again, this is the directly based on the formula that n equal to sine A plus delta minimum by 2 divided over sine A by 2. Here, refractive index is given, and we know that equilateral prism means angle of prism is 60 degree. If we solve this, and we know that this value is nothing but this is angle of incidence, that A plus delta minimum by 2. Again, the answer of this question is the 60 degree. This is again very good problem, that what is the change of escape velocity to the orbital velocity. So here we have to find out escape velocity minus orbital velocity divided over orbital velocity. And we know that escape velocity is under root 2gr, orbital velocity is under root gr, and that will become under root gr into 100. If we solve this value will equal to 41.4. What is the answer? 41.4. The answer of this question that you have to try by your own self. That answer is 3. Here malus law is going to be used, that I equal to I naught cos square theta. So I give hint for the some questions. I hope the discussion is helpful for you guys. So thank you so much for attending the